So recently, I've heard a bunch of bullcrap talking about how some people have certain learning styles and maybe, oh, this learning style isn't for me. Oh, this the method wouldn't work for me because I'm more of a visual learner or auditory learner or whatever bullshit you guys can say. And then it reminds me of the concept of binary poles. Remember the time when your teacher asked you to do the Myers-Briggs test? I'm not gonna bother spelling it properly. And they gave you a set of four, now maybe five letters representing your personality traits. And let's just touch on one of them, which is being introverted and being extroverted. And so the introvert will say, oh, no. Being in social scenarios are not favorable for me. Let me just go back home and do my work in peace. And then the extrovert will be like, oh, I cannot sit still and must go and interact with every living organism out there. And so when they are each put into the scenario of the opposite side, they shun away, or basically they don't even attempt it and say, oh, this isn't for me. So what the binary, like the theory of binary poles is that the only way you can be wrong is if you are in one of these areas and you're like, what the hell? Then what is correct? And how you be correct is you have a bit of both. So I mean, it can be either closer to here or here, but the idea is you have to be able to adapt to both scenarios. So you basically need to have certain amounts of extroversion when everyone is quiet to like maybe cheer the team on or boost team morale whenever like the team is damn quiet. And you also need to have the skills when you need to sit down and do work and just shut the fuck up and do the work. So essentially you need to have both. And this can apply to so many more things, such as divergent and convergent thinking. So some people think from what one small idea and it spreads out to like many different ideas. So it's like a bit like big picture thinking, but more analytical and theoretical since it's spread out to different aspects. And some people think of things in the other way around, where it's a lot of big ideas and it all converges into one singular idea. And so you'll be like, oh, which is better? To have divergent thinking or convergent thinking? And once again, the answer is you have to get both. And so you must be able to think of multiple ideas. And then it all comes back to one singular idea that you focus on. Holy shit, what's this drawing? Anyways. So the last one is being, oh yeah, the last one is whether you are specialist or a generalist. And if you're asking this question, why not be both? So know a bit of everything, but also be super good at one thing. So to think of it this way, if you are a brain surgeon, right, and all you know is how to operate on brains, and that is all you know nothing about the heart, you know nothing about the lungs, and you know nothing about the staff that work beside you to help you during your surgery. So like it doesn't matter how good you are at this, you're screwed. Like how do you work with these people? How do you know what to react when these things fuck up? And so once again, the only way to be wrong is to be on one side. And so it comes to the topic of learning styles, and even if there was such a thing, let alone, like, I don't think it exists based on the research currently. Even if it did exist, let's say there's visual learning and auditory learning, right? The only way you can be wrong is if you choose one of them and completely neglect the other. And of course, there's other types of learning. And so, what you want to do is to have all three. Maybe you can have a slight preference to one, right? But you still have to know all three and be able to use them, what, depending on the type of information you're given, right? So imagine all you were given were lectures, and you had to use more of these and slightly less of visual. But let's say all you were given was slides. Are you just gonna, if you were only learning through audio, are you just gonna like, what, not study the slides? Of course not, right? So there's only preference of which learning style you prefer. But there's no such thing as you cannot learn through another learning style. And it's only what type of learning style you are used to